Hey guys, today's Friday, August the 26th of 2022, and I wanted to do a video on Nifty 50. I have a lot of brothers and sisters out there in India that trade the Nifty 50 markets, and here and there they always like to get a feedback and update on what I see and what are my thoughts. So we're going to tackle the Nifty 50 on this update and kind of see what's going on in August, maybe even leading to September. I'm right now in Rochester, New York. Out here walking around, very lovely area, very nice, pretty cool. And I'm in a hotel, and I think there's a wedding going on. So if you hear some screaming and chaos and loud music, that's in the background. So I'm going to try to do this video and hopefully give you some good content and give you some good audio with that. So, my motto, I always start out with the weekly cycles and work my way down and just kind of narrate it down to what's the chart is showing us. So this is a weekly chart, and I'm using data from all the way down to August of 2009 to current prices. And there are three important cycles. One is the important one, which I always show first. Then the second one, and then the one that is not that strong, last will be the third one. So we're going to start out with the most important cycle, which is the 195 cycle. This one has a good correlation. You can look how it has behaved in the past. And that cycle is indicating that we're going to hit a trough somewhere down here, a cycle low, November of 2023. That's what it's projecting into the future. And like I said, correlation is good. Now if this is going to play into the future, we want to see price action making lower highs and lower lows, or maybe go sideways, because I've seen that too. If you look at my YouTube channel, you can look at the Netflix video I did. That's another pattern too. There's other things I also talk about, seasonal patterns and seasonal traps and all that. But in this video, in this clip that I'm showing you right now, this is what the 195 cycle is showing. The next one is the 116. And this one, you see that bottoms out or hits a trough somewhere around October of 17 of this year. And then it goes up to November of 2023, the week of November 27th, around there. And the last one is the 330, just hit a peak right where we at pretty much the last week of August. And this one goes further out into the future, past 2025. This one is not that strong. I'm not going to say it's not great, but I want to show it because it's always good to look at all the data and not be, taking the best ones. Just show you the best three cycles, and then, you could decide what, with probability, what could play out. So the first one, 195, do a composite with the 116. This is what you get down to like March of 2023. If you take the 195 and do a composite with the 330, this one goes out to 2024, around January, around there, January, February. If you take out the 330 and leave it by itself, not the 195 and leave it by itself, you get a swing low somewhere around November, December of 2023. So that's what the weekly cycles are showing. Now we're going to go to the daily chart and see what the daily cycles are showing there. Okay, so this is the daily cycle, and I'm using data from 2019 of March all the way to current prices. And there's like two that are important here. One is the 246, which is the strongest one. And I want you to see something here. So it peaked here. You see that this cycle was affecting it higher high, lower highs, lower lows. And right here, we hit a trough around June, and prices have been, moving higher, making higher highs and higher low. Can it continue? It could. But the cycle peaks around November of 2022 this year. So that's the daily cycle. The dominant cycle is 136. And I have a cycle here of 137. And the correlation here is not great. Yeah, it's not great compared to the 246. Yeah, 246 is much better in regards to correlation. But the 137 is not that bad. We made a low in July, a trough right here, while the Nifty50 made a low in June. And this one peaks out somewhere around September. You could probably say September, October, November on the daily cycle. You kind of peak out. October. So this is a composite of the 246 and the 137 together. So can it continue going higher? Yeah, it could probably maybe even retest that high, according to the cycle spectrum analysis. So now we'll go to the next clip and see what we see there. Okay, guys, so here is our Nifty50 seasonality chart. I like to start off with the 5-year. I typically use Gann's number. When I mean Gann's number, he used 5, 10, 20. Those are the numbers I use. So we're going to start out with the 5-year and just kind of see what we have there. And you can see that September is a little weak here, kind of flat, you could say. And October, November, December are pretty strong using a 5-year time frame. We go to the 10-year, and you can see that October is the strongest. So from like 2013 all the way to 2022, October, the Nifty50 is very strong within 10-year average. And then from there, I go straight to a 20. I could get a bigger picture. You can see that October is pretty good. December is probably the kind of tippy-toeing there with July and December. So this kind of gives us, all right, so you know what? October, December, 10-year, October kind of takes the trophy there. And then 5-year, you can say October, November, December are kind of strong. So like you can say the winter seasonality, even with the October fall season, Nifty50 is strong. This is the last chart I want to show you, just due to the fact that I'm in my laptop and I need to get some stuff imported there and get this data in there. For some reason, I don't have my data on this file or on the Nifty50. I must have left it home, my hard drives. But anyway, I'm using TradingView. So this white line here, this cycle projection line here, this is the weekly cycle. So I have it there as a reminder that the weekly cycles are pointing down, just to kind of give me, just kind of let me know, what's going on in regards to the weekly cycle. You can see that we have a MACD crossover, but it's got a nice little pop you can see down here. Price actions confirming it. But the MACD has a crossover on the monthly. We're going to the weekly. You can see that this was all the demand zone, and I have this stretching out all the way to 2023. And this is the supply zone. And it looks like I typed that wrong there. Looks like Zune or Zoo. Let's fix that. Zone. There you go. That's better. Demand zone, supply zone. And we just kissed it. Kind of reminds me of Cameco. Actually, this is on the weekly, so this is even uglier. But the supply zone, we kissed it and kind of pulled back. So now remember what we went over. The daily cycle is pointing up to like October, November, and then it turns down. While the weekly cycle, depending which one you pick, the 195 that I talked about earlier is pointing down. The 116, I think, bottoms out somewhere around October. So you got a couple of things that kind of contradict. You have the one of the cycles on the weekly, turning in October. You have the daily cycles peaking in October, November. And then you have this dominant cycle, which is this one that I have in white on this chart, that it's already pointing lower. So what could happen? We could potentially push higher and maybe make a new high into October. That's possible. I won't rule it out. Is it going to be a fight? Yeah, it's going to be a fight, because you got this whole area right here where the bears come and just pounce on the bulls. They failed here. They failed here. And now they're trying here. And we'll see how, we close this month. But it's going to be a hard fight to get up there. Let's look at the daily. You can see that the MACD is positive. Actually, I am missing something here. And it's this. Actually, did I turn it off? Maybe I did. My super trend. There we go. So this is some buy signals that I have. So it's still in buy zone on the weekly, and I believe on the monthly it's still a buy, as in crossed over because of this demand zone right here. So it's still in buy zone, and on the daily it's still in buy zone, hasn't gone negative, but you can see that the MACD had just a crossover here. So it could potentially chop around sideways, but the cycles, like I said, peak out in October and then, go down. Anything could happen from right here because you're right at the top of the range. The ideal place to be buying would have been down here. It'll be foolish of me to tell you, yeah, you could bull a position here. It's going to go push higher. This is where it's more riskier. Over here is less risky. Because you could just buy it here in this demand zone and just, see if prices could go higher. But right here to tell you to, get in, I would just be more cautious and trail my stops, give it a little more breathing room for volatility. But, that's up to you and your, risk management. But those are what the cycles are saying. I don't want to make this video too long. Just know that the weeklies are down. The dailies are up to like October around there. And seasonality-wise, October, I think within the 10-year and 5-year, October, November are pretty strong. But October looks like it jumps out the most. So a lot of things are kind of, building, like as I call it, a cluster. So, we'll see how it goes. But this is what the chart is showing me. Hopefully this helps, and I'll keep you posted on the Nifty50. We'll do a next update in September and see, and especially October. So I want to see how this thing is going to play out. And I'll see you again.